Welcome back to Cousin Chit Chat. That's cute, cousin. That's really cute. That's enough of that.
So, y'all see the title, Bitches Got Daddy Issues.
Period.
Did he say period with that?
I don't know.
We got daddy issues and it is what it is.
Who gonna track me, boo?
My man, my husband, he married me too late.
You married me too late? Okay,
so
on a serious note, we want to talk about how important it is in a young girl and also a woman's life
Because it carries.
Yes, to have her father present
In the home.
Or
just
present in the life,
yeah.
like on a constant basis.
Yeah.
And we're just both gonna elaborate on both of our experience. We both grew up in homes without our fathers.
But our situations is different.
Right.
Like Nisha said, we both grew up without a dad in the house, but not so much just like not in the house. So my dad was around. We only really stayed like 30 minutes apart. But we didn't really have like the best relationship or what I would have wanted. So, I mean, I seen him occasionally, but I mean, we couldn't like, I don't know. I don't
Not
even
a
know.
consistent basis.
I don't even know what to compare it to because I don't even really know what a healthy
Relationship with a father.
father-daughter relationship looks like.
Which
So
is again why it's important.
it's important because it's not a lot of people around me that have that. But I just know that it wasn't a lot of time spent and it wasn't like, it just wasn't what I wish it was.
Well, kind of similar. Again, my father wasn't in the home. My father went to prison when I was, what'd you do? Well, I think 1 year old. And my father recently just got released from prison when I was 30.
Which was
he got
last
released.
year.
Yeah, he got released right before, a little bit before my 31st birthday, actually. So my whole life I spent without my father because he was in prison. So I basically, I didn't have anything to go off of. We went to the prison to visit him. I could probably count on my hand like a handful of times, and I can't even remember all of those visits verbatim. So we necessarily didn't have a relationship up until now. Like he would call, but there was no
Actual relationship. Which is, even if you guys did have a relationship, it's still kind of hard to even have that, you know what I'm saying?
That father figure.
Before we started filming, Nisha and I were just talking about like daddy issues, and like sometimes you don't realize that you even have a daddy issue until you like sit back and kind of look at yourself.
Yeah.
And I was telling Nisha, like when me and my husband got married, I remember sitting down with the pastor and like one of the first questions he asked was, because I mean, obviously asking the relationship with my father, and then I really told him that we didn't have like the best relationship. He then asked, the follow-up question was to Houston, does she have daddy issues? And Houston responded no. He responded I didn't have any issues. But as I sit back with myself, I was telling Nisha, one of the things that I think would have been different in my life had my dad been more present would have definitely been confidence. And like just confidence in myself and my self-worth. And also like not putting my confidence in a person. And I say that because like I love my husband. I value his opinion more than I value anybody else's opinion on this planet, which can be a good thing.
Besides the Lord.
As I said, on this planet. The Lord is, and he's somewhere else.
Whatever.
In heaven.
Whatever.
He's in everything. God is in everything.
God is in you.
Basically, I was telling Nisha, like, sometimes like when Houston wouldn't compliment me, my confidence would waver. Like I would be like really insecure, and like if I put something on, I remember when we first started dating, he used to talk bad about me wearing skinny jeans. I remember like I stopped wearing skinny jeans. I feel like if I kind of accepted that, but when he liked something, I would just like, go all out. And I feel like as a girl, I feel like if my dad was around to kind of instill that I'm beautiful and like, you know what I mean? Because it matters. Yeah. Like,
and I think I agree on that too. That I necessarily, I guess, thinking back on it again, like, I guess I lacked confidence in certain areas. But when you do have a man in the home, you have your father there and he's saying, oh, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that. You grow up with that, and I'm not saying, I mean, women, we're gonna have issues with men because
Right.
that's just what it is. But you would be able, I think, to
So
handle the
navigate
situation,
it a little differently.
because of the confidence that you were given growing up as a child.
Yeah, and I
from
think,
your father.
I think you would put up with less.
Yeah.
Or just even how to also to treat a man, because
Right.
we didn't see that as well either without there being like a dad in the home.
That's all. That's huge. And I don't even know if the men who are not there, if they don't understand that. Like, looking back on it, I mean, my mom's a little aggressive, I'm not gonna lie. And I think about like the way she treated men, and you watch that growing up. And so then when you become an adult, you know no other way to treat a man besides what you've seen.
What you saw, yeah.
And just like we said, with respecting a man. If you had a father figure in the home to teach you, okay, these things, and this is how you should talk to a man, because fathers are gonna teach their daughters that. That's
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And you talking, any kind of way to your man, however.
Talking out the side of your neck.
Talking outside of your neck. And it's because you didn't have that male figure there to tell you, okay, this is how it should be. And that's a daddy issue.
Right.
We
And
don't think about that.
We don't, and we're even saying too, like, you don't think about what's a daddy issue, because
Right.
people always like put certain things on daddy issues, like
Promiscuity, drug addiction, things such as that.
and
just
it's
like
not,
anger.
and it's not always that. It can be some like low self-esteem, or I don't know, disrespect, or
Right.
just a lot of other things. And like, I think me growing as a person, I'm realizing that you just kind of, when you actually take a step back and look at yourself, you can realize, okay, some of these issues may kind of stem from me having a dad.
And you can correct
And I don't want to say not having that, because like I said, my dad is around. We just didn't have like we didn't have that relationship,
the
what I'm saying?
relationship that a little girl should have to go from a little girl to an adolescent
And
to
little
a
girls
woman.
love their dad.
They
Even
do.
now,
That's
like,
their first love.
even now, like, as much, even when I tell my dad how I feel, because all the things that I'm sharing with you guys, I have shared with him, and like, I love my dad. I think he's like hilarious. I love to be around. I just think he is so funny, and I think you feel the same way even about your dad. Like, you just like, even though there's something, I don't know why I start crying,
I was getting emotional.
that you lacked. It's almost like you're super forgiving of the dad, because you still, even, it's like that little girl, you still want that relationship.
Like I said that time. Oh my God, this makes me.
Oh my God.
This is so real. But like I said, my dad was in prison, and I think it was a month ago, I took him and my mom and my boyfriend. We all went to breakfast, and my dad loves the beach, and I've always loved the beach, and I'm like, wow, there's so many things I have in common with my dad that I never knew. And I thought like, oh, maybe it's just I get this from my mom.
Yeah.
And then me and my dad were, oh my God.
Oh.
We were, shit. Fuck, I'm trying to hold it in. Sorry, guys. We were racing on the beach.
And it's like she's 30. Like, it's crazy that,
And I
like,
felt like a little girl, and I called her, and I was crying, I broke down, and I said, it's so important for a little girl, for a woman to have that relationship with her father. And I was like, I still feel like that. Like, when I see him, he brings the little girl out of me, and us having those moments together, it means so much. And that's so important for...
she's so important.
That's so important for a little girl to have. And it just sucks, because it's like, we missed all those times, we missed all those years. I didn't get to have my dad teach me to ride my bike. I didn't get to have playful moments with my dad, but it's happening now, and I'm grateful for it. But like, literally, I feel like a little girl when I'm with him, or when we do stuff like that. And that's what we're talking about, like, we have daddy issues. Like, I didn't know I would feel like that. I'm like, okay, I'm grown now, and he's home.
Because you adapt to what you think is normal. Like, you know what? Sometimes we have to acknowledge what hurt us to actually kind of like go through it. Like, sometimes we're like, I don't care. And like, I always say, like, I don't care. Like, it is much better. But like, I always say I don't care, and I think me saying I don't care is not
helps
actually
you cope. Like,
it helps me cope, but I really do care. Like, I really do wish I do see some people, and they have like this, such like my sister-in-law. Like, she has like this, like, daddy just takes care of everything. And it's funny. This is how I know. One of the ways I know I had like a daddy issue, because
I'm about to break down.
me and my husband were getting married, and I was pulling up to the house, and then my father-in-law pulled up. We're in the midst of getting married, if you've been married before and had a wedding, you know that it costs a lot of money. So he's just making sure like we're good. Like, you know, if you guys need anything. And before, I mean, the conversation, it wasn't a deep conversation like, hey, you know, hey daughter, just making sure, you know what I'm saying, y'all good, whatever. And like I started wailing tears because I had never had a man outside of my husband that just wanted to make sure. Why am I crying? Jesus.
Because we have daddy issues.
That just I had never had that. Just say like, hey baby, are you good? And like I had just never had that before then. And my cousin, I don't just come off of y'all better not say nothing.
Y'all better not say shit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take it off
it was like, it was so weird. It felt so good, but it also like made me realize like what I was lacking. And if you want us to talk about more, I guess we can
let us
clearly
know. Comment, yeah. Next time we won't cry so much. We're gonna try not to.
This is like therapy.
It is like therapy. Y'all made my eyelashes come off.
Cousin, you did that yourself.
Cousin.
Cry baby ass. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys like and subscribe.
Don't worry about my lashes. That's not your business.
See, if she had a daddy, she didn't know how to respect people. I just kidding.
But I didn't, so.